injuries. Let's take a listen.
If you can practice, practice. You can't get no better. Ain't nobody gonna get better by being on the sideline if you ain't hurt. If you not hurt, you gotta practice. Because you make other work even harder. Now they had risk of getting hurt because you don't want practice. Because you being a all that weak don't live here no more. That don't exist. It's contagious, bro.
Had to use your imagination for that. All right, you can catch Hard Knocks streaming now on HBO Go. But Skip, I want your opinion on this first. When you listen to that from Jarvis Landry, did you like it?
I loved it. I was riveted by it because I was so stunned by it. I did not see it coming because Jarvis had been seen on the Hard Knocks camera several times on the practice field, and he did not come across like this at all. I will remind you, the Browns receivers coach, Adam Henry, coached both Jarvis and Odell at LSU. So there's a closeness there. So he was able to look sideways at that coach, closeness that he has to him, and say, let me say something real quick. That's how it started. It was not real quick. And he had clearly thought through what his speech was going to be. Now, was he playing to the camera that's mounted up on the wall, that's videotaping everything they're doing in that meeting? Maybe a little bit. But was it effective? Did it drive home the point that we, as the new Cleveland Browns, cannot keep acting the same ways we acted through 1-31 over the last 2 years? Yes, it was effective. And as you heard, he's saying, unless your hamstring is torn off the bone, unless your leg is broke, you're going to practice because I'm hurt, I'm beat up, and I'm tired just like all the rest of you are. You've been there before. You know exactly what he's saying.
First week is tough.
It's dog days, man. It's hot and it's drippy and you get sore quickly because you're not doing football stuff in the offseason, and all of a sudden, you wake up in the morning, you don't want to get out of those ugly beds you're in, those little cot beds that you're in, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. And so he's saying, I'm going to practice. And there are a bunch of you, I don't know exactly who he's calling out, but he's looking around the room because he is preaching to this room. You're going to practice, you're going to practice, you're going to practice. And in the end, he's saying that you know what is weakness, that you know what is contagious, because it is contagious. And he concludes that all that weak, you know what, don't live here no more. Well, that's the way you have to attack a loser's culture. That's how you have to change it with speeches. Profanity-laced tirades like that is the best thing, the best way to attack that group that will be contagious to other groups on the team. So does he have some cachet? Again, let's frame this. Was he Shannon Sharp leaving the Denver locker room and going into the Baltimore locker room? He was not, because Shannon Sharp came with big credentials and cachet. And obviously you're joining a team that already has Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Ed was there. Rod was there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, but again, you became a leader of that team because you had cachet. Jarvis Landry, just for the record, has played in one playoff game. It was that cold weather game when they went up to Pittsburgh with Matt Moore at quarterback. But he did catch, I think, 11 balls for 102, so he had a pretty good game. And last year, he did lead the league in catches. Now, he was 17th in receiving yards because he doesn't get a whole lot, because he's not a burner.
No.
Remember, he ran 4.77 at the combine. 4.77, which is why he didn't go in the first round, right?
He's a slot receiver.
He's a slot receiver.
He's good, Skip. He's going to move the chains.
And he's got Odell-esque hands.
Yes.
He can one-hand it and do circus catches.
Yes.
So he does have the cachet that he led the league last year, that he had almost as many catches as the Browns receivers last year had as a group. He had more touchdown catches, 2 more than they had as a whole receiving corps in Cleveland. And he just signed 5 years, $75 million. So he's got some respect in that locker room.
Right.
So I love the way he attacked the group, but I just didn't see it coming from him. And it was the highlight of what I thought was a very intriguing opening show. And it leads me to my conclusion. This is going to be the most improved team in the league. They need Josh Gordon back. There were some hints early that he's going to be back maybe before the opener, sooner than later. So if they have him back and Baker Mayfield looks like he's about to take over the whole football team and be the starting quarterback, I still like them to be the shock of the year in the NFL.
Skip, I agree with everything you just said. I loved it. It shows that he's passionate, and this is what leaders do. He's trying to instill in them, in order for the new Browns not to be like the old Browns, we can't have old Brown habits, which is not practicing, not going hard. It is, Skip, you mentioned it. That first week of camp, because you have not been doing football stuff, you have not been in shoulder pads and helmets, you get sore. So by that third day, you're really sore. That old man, we call it that old man because you're getting out of bed and you walking, you like an old man, you stiff. And normally our third day of practice is 9 on 7. That's what, hey, we need you to strike up the band. You got to bring it that day because everybody yelling at the defense. Nothing today. Skip, it's 9 on 7. No receivers. What you think we doing? We running the ball.
Contact.
Yeah. So you got to bring it. It's tough.
Yep.
And Jarvis like, bro, how we going to get better if you on the sideline? How do we get better if you over here? Forget you getting better. Us. We got to change the dynamic. But here's the thing, Skip. Now, he gave that fire and brimstone. Now, when they have a good day, he need to call them. That's the way you practice. That's the way you work. That's how we get better there. Now, see, I can live with that. That's what he got to tell them. You got to give them, sometimes you got to give them 2 to 1. You give them one hard one, you give them 2 to 3 to 1 good one. Let them know that, hey, I'm with you. I'm gonna get on you now. Got to. It's nice to see that he got a pocket full of money and he still want to be great. That he's still pushing forward. That's rarity. Because, you know, a lot of time, guys, we've seen guys, Skip, get the money. I'm good now, bro. All right.
That is true. A lot of guys go to Cleveland to semi-retire, and he clearly wants to change their habits.
Yes.
He wants to try to start winning games. Not that they won huge in Miami, but again, he's got a new responsibility. He's going to take over as a leader, and I think he'll back it up on the field.
Yes. He's going to be Baker Mayfield's favorite target.
I think he might be.
Especially if they don't get Josh back, Skip. They really need Josh in order for this offense to be what we think it can be. But if they don't have Josh, he's going to be Baker Mayfield's best friend.
So the setup to this profanity-laced tirade that we saw in Hard Knocks was some shots on the practice field of drops. And 2 of those drops came from one Corey Coleman. And we heard Todd Haley, the new offensive coordinator, say, come on, Corey, that's a big play. Get in there and have some desire. And then we heard Hugh Jackson, the head coach, sort of muttering to himself on the side, way too soft, way too, soft. Guess what? A couple days later, John Dorsey ships out Corey Coleman, and it was like a Jimmy Johnson memorial move like Jimmy did with the Cowboys back in the early 90s. If you do that on the practice field, you're gone.
Yeah, but you gave him up. That was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
You gave up for a seventh rounder.
Seventh rounder in like 20-something, 22 or something.
Almost like 20 never. Basically
What?
said,
20 never.
We want you up out of here.
Yeah, it's more of a message move to the receiving corps, to the locker room, right?
Yes.
To say, we don't put up with that anymore.
Training camp is about competing, Skip.
Yeah.
The coaches want to see you compete.
Yeah.
They want to see you compete in that environment.